Brooke and I'm doing the 777. That it?
This is my time. I'm on the rise. Can't hold me down, I'm too fly. This is my time. Ready to shine. Brighter than all of the lights. Cause when it's game time, seconds away and the game's on the line. There ain't no doubt in my mind. Beating the buzzer like, this is my time. This is my moment. You better bet that I'm on it. Ready and set, I'ma own it. Blast it to 10, then keep going. There ain't no coasting, I never settle, don't play. Putting the kettle to flame. I go 100 all day. Foot on the pedal, no brakes. 10, 9, paid on my dues, waited in line. 8, 7, now it's my time that I take mine. 6, 5, king of the jungle, heart of a lion. 4, 3, 2, 1, watch out, here I come. This is my time. I'm on the rise, can't hold me down, I'm too fly. This is my time, ready to shine, brighter than all of the lights. 'Cause when it's game time.
Welcome, Brooke, to the Do Good series, and it's exciting to actually have someone on. I mean, this is their very first year.
Yep.
Their very first year of doing the Bravehearts, 7 marathons, 7 days, 7 states. Why?
And for me, there's a couple of whys.
Yep.
So when I first decided to do this, to do the 777, this was very much about me wanting to do the next big challenge. I talk often. I don't believe in finish lines, so I very much believe in once you've finished a challenge, once you've completed something, that's just the starting point for the next big challenge.
Sure.
So for me, I started running in 2023 in September, so it's the 17th of September 2023. I remember the day, it was my daughter's birthday party. And I only started running because I'd gone for a walk and I was running late. And I was like, I need to get home. So I haven't been running for very long. So, but once I was running, I'd already been on about a 6-month weight loss journey. I'd lost about 45 kilos at that point. And I had sort of started to see the benefits that running was having in continuing my weight loss journey. It's only mind over matter. And I was like, oh, well, in that case, I ended up... And absolutely time didn't matter. So I, like I said, started running in September 2023. The first weekend of December in 2023, I ran the 25Ks at GC50. And when I did that, I didn't run the whole way. I ran about 15Ks and then I ran, walked.
Hot down there.
It was so hot.
30 odd degrees.
Yes, it was extremely hot that year. And I was like, you know what, it's just mind over matter. And that was probably my first real taste of, I'm going to do something hard. And I remember my mum asking me, do you think you're going to finish? And I was like, it's not going to be fast, but I'll finish the thing. I don't care if I crawl over the line. And so, I ran about 15Ks, then walked the rest of it. And then the last 2Ks, I found a lady who was sort of struggling a little bit with me as well. And so we actually did the last 2Ks together. We ran down to Green Mountain, ran all the way back to the finish line, and we ran together. And it was really lovely because it was the first time that I'd really, I've done fun ones before, but it was the first time that I really felt this sense of community. And I guess the taste of doing something hard and other people around you doing something hard with you. And I cried over the finish line, and I finished under 3 hours. I was like, and I was just, I still can't take away that feeling of accomplishment from having done something really, really hard. It was just this overwhelming sense of achievement, and I just wanted more. What next can I do? So that afternoon, I signed up for the Gold Coast Half Marathon, and I was just like, this is my next big goal. I never ever envisaged, running a half marathon. Running a marathon was never on my bucket list, but then it just made me just want more. So I finished that, and the date of the Sydney Marathon was exactly 12 months from the date that I started running. So I was like, you know what? This is the universe telling me I have to do this. So I downloaded a free running program or an app, and started just running and just somewhat running aimlessly just to try and get myself ready. I put out a call out on my social media asking family and friends who live in Sydney, does anyone have a bed that I can sleep in? I've also got these 2 tickets, does anyone want to run with me? I got lots of offers for a bed, but not a lot of offers to run. And then a friend of mine from primary school, so we've remained friends on social media and stuff, but literally have not connected for 25 years. She messaged me and she said, I've got a bed and I'll run with you. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I literally wasn't joking. And I said, well, I've also got all of this other gear. So ASICs were giving me and a friend a pair of shoes, and then I had all of this double up stuff. And I said, I'll give you all of this in exchange for the bed. And she was like, okay, well, I'll give you my frequent flyer points and I'll fly to Sydney. So it just all worked out. Like the universe worked out really well. And I did this.
It's meant to be.
It felt like it was meant to be. And it was just like, here's my next big challenge. Like, here's the next big hard thing that I'll do. And it was, at that, probably by far the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life. It hit me emotionally.
And it just, again, it was just this overwhelming sense of pride and achievement that I just did something hard, and I did it for myself. And that's probably been the biggest part of my journey, is because for so long prior to my journey, I have just given so much of me to everybody else. Like, I work in helping industry. I've worked in helping industries for 20 years. And so my whole life, whether it's work life, family life, whatever, I've always given myself up for everybody else. And this whole journey has been about me putting myself first. And it's actually started in a pretty shitty way. In 2022, 2021, my husband and I got COVID for the first time. Unfortunately, my husband had a heart attack as a result, and went into 12 months worth of heart failure, which led him to having open heart surgery to repair his aortic, repair and replace his aortic valve. And we were at a stage where we didn't know what was going to happen. It was very touch and go. And I was sitting next to him in ICU in recovery just as he was waking up. And he said to me, you've got to stop looking after us and you need to start looking after yourself. And for me, I was just like, no, I've got to look after you, but you're here, you're the sick one, I've got to look after you. But he said to me, if something happens to me right now, if you're not looking after yourself, who's going to look after our kids?
Yep.
So it was kind of like not just probably the kick up the ass that I needed, but it also probably also the permission that I was always seeking that I never really had to actually start putting myself first. So he came home from hospital just after Easter, and I had some time off work whilst he settled in back home. I was like, right, now's the time. I'm going to start putting myself first and start looking after myself. And then the rest is sort of history. Like it. So I started my weight loss journey.
But for me, even if I look back on it, it's not been about the weight loss. It's been about repairing everything else. Like, it's been about repairing my mindset, my mental health, my emotional health, as well as my physical health. But for me, it's so much about who I am, and then it's doing the hard stuff. It's getting to the end point of one thing and then starting a new thing, because I've done that now. I can do something else now, or it just shows me how strong I am. But then on the flip side, this actual 777 marathon, it's allowing me to now use the hard stuff as a platform to raise awareness about other hard stuff. And for me, when it comes to Bravehearts, it's the hard stuff that people don't like to talk about. This is now using something hard as an opportunity or as a platform to educate people.
How's the training going?
Actually, pretty good. So I've been really, really lucky that I've been able to secure a coach in my corner. Her name is Nicole Jukes. She has a pretty high profile of her own. She was the first ever female winner of a backyard ultra. And we were talking, and she was asking about my goals, asking about what I wanted to do, why I was doing it. And then right at the end, it was right just about to say, she said, "I'd really love to coach you." And right at the end, just as I was about to say, "Well, yeah, okay, how much is it going to cost me?" She said, "I'm going to sponsor you." And she said, "So I'm going to coach you for free." I'm literally mind blown at the progress that I've had just with her programming and stuff. So she got me to a 10K PB at Gold Coast a couple of weeks ago. I never in a million years thought I would ever go sub 50, and I did. I was so proud of myself. I was like really excited. So, but for me, it's not necessarily been about wanting to achieve fast times or anything. It's just I just want to get to the end. I just want to build my endurance. And over the time, I've like my training and stuff. We've introduced interval training and some hilly runs and stuff.
So what's been the toughest so far in the training? What have you found has been, hey, I've really got to think back now of why I'm doing this to get me through this session?
Yeah. So I had a moment this weekend just gone actually. And I had a 2.5 hour run in my plan. And I've had a little bit of because I do a lot, and I felt a little bit of a niggle in my knee, which I knew was some tight muscles. I got to about the hour mark of my run on Sunday, and I actually had this mental block, and I actually asked myself, "What the hell are you doing, Brooke? Like, why the hell are you even doing this? Why are you even trying?" I did get into a bit of a negative mindset, and I was like, "No, you can do this." And I was in, like, I live rural south of Brisbane, or semi-rural south of Brisbane. I was on a rail trail, and I was halfway along the rail trail, and I'm like, well, your car is 5Ks that way, so you've got to get back to your car at least. And I was in the middle of the rail trail, and I just burst into tears. And and it wasn't just tears streaming down my face slowly, like I sobbed. And I kept asking myself, why the hell are you doing this? And then I said to I reminded myself of things that Nicole was saying to me about, if you feel a niggle, just stop. Like, it's not worth pushing yourself to an injury or pushing yourself to exhaustion. And I think I was just in this space where I was emotionally exhausted, I was physically exhausted, and I just needed to slow down and stop. And so I ran for another 15 minutes, got myself to the end of the rail trail, and I was like, okay, now I feel okay to just walk back to my car. And I messaged Nicole while I was walking, and I said to her, "I'm really sorry," because I felt like a failure. Like, I felt like I couldn't do 2.5 hours, and I could only get halfway. And I just felt really shit in myself. But then Nicole sent me a message, and all she said back, she said, "I'm glad you listened to me. It actually takes strength in knowing when to stop." I'm going to cry now.
Okay. So Brooke, now tell me this crazy thing. You're going to kick a soccer ball at one of the seven days.
Yeah. So
why? Again, why?
So why? There's a couple of reasons why.
Yep.
So football's been a big part, like I mentioned before. Football's been a massive part of my life. How can I add to the challenge? So I wanted to add a little bit of a challenge to what I was doing. Also in the hopes that it will help me boost my fundraising as well. Like, here's an extra challenge that I'm going to do. My soccer club has got behind me as well, which is really cool. Like, I've got an amazing group of women who I play football with, and they're cheering me on from the sidelines as well. So a lot of it was about adding to the challenge. I was just like, well, an extra hard thing, and it kind of worked out really well because one of my best friends who I met through football passed away 10 years ago, and so it's given me the opportunity, and he's from Adelaide. And so it's given me the opportunity as well to dedicate the Adelaide leg to him. So also be running the Adelaide leg wearing an Adelaide United jersey with his name blazoned on the back of it. So it's just adding to the challenge, trying to raise some more awareness. People see people running marathons and they're like, oh, there's someone just running a marathon. But then people are going to see someone running a marathon with a soccer ball, and it's going to get more people talking, and it's going to be people are going to be asking, why is she doing that? And then that gives me the opportunity to say, well, this is why I'm doing it, and start sharing and continuing to spread the message.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How can people get behind you, Brooke?
So people can get behind me by donating to my my Bravehearts League, my fundraising league. I have an Instagram account. My Instagram handle is run.brookie.run, so run Brookie run. So you can get behind me that way. In a couple of weeks' time, I've been working with another organisation who's got behind me to sponsor me called Yeah Buddy. And I am officially Yeah Buddy's first female athlete. And we have come together to design a running hat that will also be sold with proceeds going directly to Bravehearts. So once they're released, I will share that on my Instagram as well, and people can purchase those with the proceeds being donated directly to Bravehearts.
If you can't donate, share.
The biggest challenge for us is getting people involved from all over the country, believing in themselves to run a marathon, knowing that they don't have to run a full marathon. They can join us on tour in Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne, Hobart, Sydney or Canberra, and they can run a half marathon, so 21 Ks, 14 Ks or 7 Ks. You don't have to run a marathon to join Bravehearts on the 777 marathon or run alongside the 777 marathon national touring team that yourself and Mark are in.